In the introduction to this screencast, I differentiated between exporting an entire course and archiving an entire course. An export is a way of zipping a single file of course content and saving it. You can use this exported file at a later time in a different term or semester. Now, archiving does create a zip file as well, but this file includes not only the course content, but also the students and all their activity in the Blackboard course. These two zipped files serve very different purposes. The export is great, as I said, for reusing course materials over and over again. In fact, I like to add that this is superior from copying from one course to another, because the export package is really intended for reuse, whereas the copy is more copying one course once. I often use the analogy of Xeroxing a Xerox of a Xerox. Over time, the quality begins to degrade. Course copy is like copying a course of a copied course of a copied course. And you'll notice broken links and missing files over time. We highly recommend exporting a course and using that each time you create a new section if you know you're going to be reusing it more than one time. Now, archiving, on the other hand, is intended to back up your records on student work as opposed to back up your course content. An archive is a small file size. You can retain it on your hard drive for several semesters in the event that you need to call up a previous student work or activity. In this section of the screencast, I'm going to show you how to perform both an export and an archive, and then I'll show you how to restore or create a course by importing from the exported file. Exporting and archiving are also done from the control panel. So go to the bottom left of your class, hover over Packages and Utilities, and click once, and it will expand the submenu. Again, you'll see your choices. Hover over the one that says Export Archive Course. Select that by clicking once. You'll notice your screen will change, and in my case I have some export files that are already here. If this is the first time, you'll have a large empty area and the two buttons, one for export and the other for archive. Let me start by showing you the export process. You select the button one time, and this will look familiar from the course copy. It tells me the course I'm in. It allows me to calculate the size if you want to see how big this zipped file will be. And then in the third section, all the course content from the course you're in that you can individually select to be part of the export. So the content areas can be selected all at once, or you can select them individually if there are certain ones you know you'd like. You can take the calendar and redo the dates. You can do some of the settings, choose rubrics, and so on. Once you've selected material from the course, you then choose the button in the bottom right or the top right, and you submit your export request. Now, when I press that, you'll notice that I get a bright green stripe across the top with the word success at the beginning. It then goes on to say that this particular choice has been queued up on the Blackboard servers. That means it hasn't happened yet, but it's in the queue. And then it also gives you an indication that an email will come to let you know that this has been successfully exported, and you'll come back to this location to find the export file. Now, just a word on timing. Usually this happens for me truly within moments, depending on the file size of the export. But in some cases, if it's a very busy time in higher education, like the end of the traditional semester, you'll find that the servers are a little bit slower because people are doing lots of activities on the server outside of exporting. So be patient. We usually think things should happen within an hour or two, but if you're finding that you return to this area and do not see your exported file, nor do you receive an email, give us a call over here at the CTL, and we'll look into it and see what's happening. Now, let me show you the difference between the archive. Again, we start from the Packages and Utilities. We're in the same location, Export Archive Course, But to archive the course, we're going to select the brown button that obviously says Archive. The screen looks pretty different from the export. You'll notice that you only have one option, and that is to include or not include the Grade Center history. Remember, this is supposed to be a full record of the student activities and assignments in the course. When you select that, you are going to get a similar ability to submit, and then you'll get the green stripe that shows up on the top. Again, it's queued up, and now this will take usually a little bit longer than a course export because it's getting every single movement of the student, all the login times, and so on. You will get an email letting you know that it's here. So the difference between exporting and archiving, again, is the purpose for which you're going to be using it. Both of them create zipped up files. Now in the next section, I'm going to show you quickly how to import material into another course so that you can use the exported file that you just learned how to create. But first, I need to do the very last step, which is downloading the file out of the course that you exported or archived in. So you'll have to return to the Packages and Utilities section of your course. Again, you do go right back to the Export and Archive course area. And this is when you will see any files that have either been archived or exported and are ready for you to download onto your computer. My instinct is always to choose the chevrons next to a file, and I don't know why, but this isn't what you actually need to do to download these files. First, I would read over really carefully what the title of the file is. You'll notice that the export files begin with the word export. The archive files begin with the word archive. But over on the date created, that also helps you keep track of when this archive was made, and you'll kind of know which was the one that you wanted. So you'll need to download either one of these to your hard drive so that you can save your own copy. To do that, you actually select the title. I believe on a PC you're probably going to get a some kind of a question text box. In my Chrome browser, it actually is going to export down here, and then it is located in the download file of my computer. So your opening and saving this is going to happen differently depending on your computer, but you'll see how mine just did that in my own browser. Once you have downloaded and saved the exported or archived course file, it's there for you to use at any point. And the next thing I'll show you is when you start a new course, how you can build a new course from the exported file. The final thing in this video is to show you how to import things from materials that you've zipped and exported. So you'll need to know where that exported file is saved. You can do this right after you've exported it, or this is something you can do months or semesters later. First, you'll need to go into the new empty course, and then you'll need to find the Packages and Utilities again. Click once to expand. This time, you're going to scroll down to the Import part and find the one that says Import Package, View Logs. Select that by clicking once. From here, you select the brown button to Import Package, and now you have several choices. One, you'll want to make sure that you're in the right course. Then you're going to browse to the file. In my case, I've got it on my desktop. Yours will be wherever you've located it. And then you choose the content areas that you have in that file. Once you've done that, you press submit. You will get the familiar green stripe of success across the top. You will get that thing that says an email will be sent to you once it has been actively completed in the queue. I can usually tell this is done when I come in, and if I see some changes in the course menu, I know that that import has been successful. So using an export as opposed to a course copy is a great way to reuse content over and over and over again and not risk that degradation that you'll find when you copy a course from a copied course that was copied. During this video, you learned the steps for copying course materials, either one at a time or an entire course. You learned how to export an entire course and save it as a zipped file, as well as archive an entire course and the difference between the two of those. Finally, you learned how to import those materials back into a course. Hopefully, this helps you manage your course materials and ultimately saves you time. From the CTL, thanks. We always admire those of you who take the time to learn new things and learn how to best use the system. Thanks again.